Hello everyone, welcome to GK Today's live quiz. RBI Grade B examination for 2019 is within a month and a half, and let us look at some probable questions for the exam. So these are the questions from the static part of the syllabus. So let us begin. The value of intermediate good is not accounted into GDP calculations because, and your time starts now. And the correct answer is, that's because their value is already counted in the final goods. For example, cotton cloths already account for the value of raw cotton, so there is no point in adding their value separately. This will lead to double counting, which is why they are not taken into account in GDP calculations. Which of the following is not a tertiary economic activity? And your time starts now. And the correct answer is running a chicken farm or any farm for that matter. So economic activities are broadly grouped into three primary sections. First, the primary section, which is directly dependent on the environment and refer to utilization of planet's resources such as land, water, vegetation, etc. So these are the things that include farming and other activities like that. Then there's the secondary level where they add value to natural resources by transforming raw material into valuable products. So if you're making jewelry from metal, things like that. And the tertiary activities, which include services like transport, communication, healthcare, education, trade, etc., which are mostly service-based. GDP plus net factor income from abroad equals to what? And your time starts now. And the correct answer is GNP, Gross National Product, which takes the gross domestic product, adds it to the income of the Indians who are working abroad and subtracts the income by foreigners who are living in India, thus getting an accurate idea of income made by India and Indians over the financial year. There have been much talk of the government changing the base year for GDP calculations. What does base year mean in this context? And your time starts now. The correct answer is option B, specific year against which the economic growth is measured. So it is a specific year against which the growth is measured and it is allocated a value of 100 on an index. The estimates at the prevailing prices of current year are termed as at current price, while those prepared at base year prices are termed at constant price. These current prices are then adjusted as per the base year. Which of the following is not an indicator in Human Development Index? And your time starts now. And the correct answer is sustainability. So a country can never progress until and unless its people lead a healthy and happy life. This is why HDI or Human Development Index is important, and it is defined as the composite statistics used to rank countries by levels of human development, and it is a measure of health, education and income. It measures the average achievements in a country on these three basic dimensions, and one of the leading criticisms in HDI is, however, that it does not take into account sustainability. Between 1990 and 2017, India's HDI value has increased from 0.427 to 0.640, which is an increase of nearly 50% and an indicator of the country's remarkable achievement in lifting millions of people out of poverty. Inequality Adjusted Human Development Index is published by who? And your time starts now. Correct answer is B, UNDP, which stands for United Nations Development Programme. All these indexes are actually published by them. So, Inequality Adjusted Human Development Index takes into account not only the average achievements of a country on health, education and income, but also how those achievements are distributed among its population by discounting each dimension's average value according to its level of inequality. The United Nations Development Programme is the United Nations Global Development Network, and it publishes this report. If a country scores 1 on the GDI index, it means that it has what? Your time starts now. And the correct answer is that it has no inequality between genders. So GDI is Gender Development Index, and it measures the gender gaps in human development achievements by accounting for the disparities between women and men in 3 basic dimensions of human development, which are health, knowledge and living standards, using the same component indicators which are being used in Human Development Index measurement. Now, the closer this ratio is to 1, the smaller is the gap between women and men. India's Gender Development Index is 0.819 compared to the developing country average of 0.913, which means we have to improve a lot. The GII index measures empowerment by comparing 1. Average earning of women at the same work as their male counterparts, 2. Proportion of parliamentary seats occupied by females, 3. Proportion of women having secondary education. And your time starts now. Correct answer is option D, which is only 2 and 3. So Gender Inequality Index is an inequality index that measures gender inequalities on 3 important aspects of human development, which are reproductive health, which is measured by maternal mortality ratio, and adolescent birth rates. Then there is empowerment, which is measured by proportion of parliamentary seats occupied by females and proportion of adult females and males aged 25 years and older with at least some secondary education. And economic status expressed as labor market participation and measured by labor force participation rate of female and male population aged 15 years and older. So it doesn't take into account salaries as such. It takes into account how many women and men are working and the proportion of it. In a country where all citizens have equal wealth, Gini ratio is what? Your time starts now. And the correct answer is 0. In economics, the Gini coefficient, sometimes called the Gini index or Gini ratio, is a measure of statistical dispersion intended to represent the income or wealth distribution of a nation's residents. So this is basically an economic parity check. The greater the disparity within a nation, the closer the Gini coefficient will be towards 1. So if all citizens have equal wealth, then the Gini coefficient would be 0. So what is the Gini coefficient of India? Leave your answer in the comments. Let's see how many of you can get it. GANet stands for what? And your time starts now. And the correct answer is gross national happiness. So gross national happiness is a measurement of the collective happiness in a nation. The concept is that it has been explained as having 4 pillars, which is good governance, sustainable socio-economic development, cultural preservation, and environmental conservation. India has been ranked 133 in a global list of happiest countries according to a UN-based report. Now this index is a perception-based index, which is something we should keep in mind. The World Happiness Index 2018 measures 156 countries in terms of happiness, and it has placed India in 133rd position, a drop of 11 places from last year's rank of 122nd. And the country was ranked 118th in 2016. So we have seen a gradual drop, but the thing to keep in mind is this is a perception-based index. That's all for this quiz. Do mention your scores in the comment. If you want more quiz focused around this exam, do leave a comment as well. And if you like our efforts, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Until next time, goodbye and good luck.